Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is back above 89k. The market is stabilizing a little bit. Market is stabilized a little bit above the 100% extension here, which was one of the key targets for the decline for this C wave, which started here at the B wave top on the 30th of January. So this was the first, let's say, target that we talked about here. For the white scenario, which is this short-term bearish scenario, which I don't assume is going to take us into the bear market. Okay, I mean, it's possible. We talked about that. It can easily evolve into a more substantial price top, the one that formed here in this larger third wave in December. Absolutely, we talked about that. I don't need to repeat all that. I mean, everybody who's been following these videos knows that the overall upside expectations for Bitcoin have been fulfilled, at least the minimum requirements, let's say it like that. I would still like to see the price get to 130k, 140k, and therefore I'm currently working based on the idea that this here is only a corrective pullback in a still unfolding uptrend, and I basically find these corrective pullbacks could be the last opportunity in this bull market, okay, these corrections here. However, at the same time, I don't assume that the correction is complete, so we should see maybe one or two more lows, as mentioned in the last few updates. Essentially, the price hasn't really moved since the last update, but we want to take a look at the microstructure. That's typical because it could indeed be that we're now in a wave 4 bounce. But for everybody who's new on the channel, current thesis is, and I'm only going to focus on the shorter time frame, current thesis is we have a W, X, Y structure, and the Y wave is NA, B, C, and the C wave is 1, 2, 2 here, 3, 4, 5, okay? And we're dealing with an ending diagonal. So the C wave is an ending diagonal, which means the subwaves are ABC structures. This is quite a complex count. It can easily change, evolve, but there are some other interpretations I'm considering. However, they don't really change resistance levels much, so we try to keep it as simple as possible. Don't want to overwhelm you with 2 or 3 or 4 different scenarios here if they don't really change much. The idea is currently that we have reached the low in an internal third wave. Something I was watching for yesterday already when the price hit the blue box for the first time. Then it formed just a marginally lower low, and we could now be finally in this fourth wave. I think this looks at least like a somewhat healthy wave 4 of this small wave degree that we're looking at the moment, yeah, with resistance between 88,466 and 92,618. And yeah, yesterday's message was that the price could still go a little bit higher in this fourth wave before we really start the fifth wave down. I think this is still something I'm watching for. Would still like to see the wave 4 extend a little higher, just to have a, let's say, more clearly defined 3-wave structure. Possibly that the price reaches the area around 91k, so maybe around the 50% retracement there in the red box, okay? Could the overall low already be in? I mean, is it possible? I mentioned it yesterday. My buy signal typically is if the daily RSI closes around 30 or at 30 in the oversold range, at or below 30. That's a buy signal that is absolutely something that has worked many, many times in the past. Careful here. It does not indicate that the low has to be in, but it is in the area where a substantial low should form. It's very important that you understand the ins and outs of that indicator. If you're interested in that, check out my video about it on the MCO Global channel. It is the video that is called The Signal That Helps You Buy Bitcoin at the Perfect Time, because it is really an indicator that has worked like 90% of the time. Some would argue 100% of the time. I mean, it really is, depending on how you approach it, a really good buy signal. Now, I mentioned in the last update, it might fail at some point, so it's not a guarantee. It never is. If too many people are using it, it's not going to work anymore at some point. But it has worked until recently, so it's still something that I believe is working at the moment. Something I'm using. At the same time, we have to focus on risk management. It's not an indicator that, that gives us a signal and it's like all in. No, Elliott Wave is still leading, so we still understand that we haven't got a confirmed low in place, so we might still go a little bit lower. Actually, I expect it to go a little bit lower, but we know how quickly turnarounds can happen in crypto. especially when the market is in a significantly oversold condition. So what we often see when we're approaching these low formations, I mean, I still don't expect that the market has bottomed yet, but we're on a good way, getting close. Two things we've often seen, or that we often see, let's say we often see. Either the market might make one more low and then break out to the upside without forming that last 4-5 pattern. I explained that thoroughly in the last video. In crypto, I would not necessarily expect that last low. We can watch for it, but I wouldn't necessarily expect it. After the next low, I will operate based on the assumption that the reversal is happening. But if the rally is only corrective, then we have to prepare for one more low. We have to prepare for it anyway. I mean, it should happen based on the wave count, but sometimes if the sell-offs are so strong, they might finish the correction a little early. The other thing is we get this and it breaks down completely. Okay, and a complete breakdown. That is when we get a signal the wave count is not correct. That's why risk management is so important. Okay, that is just what it is. Risk management is so important, and so have a plan. That means, for example, in the decline, and we still are in a decline, we're still in a correction that started in January. Yeah, it is so important that you need to have a plan. You need to approach this methodically. This is not the time to rush. You have to be picky with altcoins, and it's so important to to have a plan, because we are in a correction, and this is still a catching the falling knife situation essentially. So please be aware of that, and yeah, protect yourself. Typically in these corrections, it's all about capital preservation. But because we know how quickly things can turn around, the daily RSI being oversold is a good signal. Sometimes people ask me, why do you buy early if you expect another low? It is because we've seen them turn around early. It is what it is. The wave counts, yeah, they are not absolute predictions. That's what many people don't understand. They are simply a tool for us to get key levels to watch and to understand when we're getting into an area where a low can form. If we then get another signal like the indicator RSI, it is the time to be watching for a reversal. But we have an incomplete looking decline and we have not broken above any resistance. Means at the moment, for me, the local trend is still down. So yeah, that's the update about Bitcoin. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also make sure that you follow us on our main channel, MCO Global. Last video was about 3 coins that could still reach all-time highs, with some ideas how these can be traded. If that interests you, check it out. Link is in the description. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.